Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central. Today we're going to be taking a look at some PTR related stuff that there seems to have been a little bit of confusion around actually. So basically, if you didn't notice, Wednesday night, at least for me or anyone else here in Europe, there was actually a PTR update. This was kind of the Wednesday to Thursday night. So let's go through the different stuff here in the patch notes. Starting from the top, and that is the general change of the addition of visual outlines to make allies visible through walls. You might be noticing this in the gameplay a bit here and there if you actually look for it. It's not that obvious, it's kind of faint, but you can still see it just a little bit. I've already heard that some people want the outline to be a little bit more obvious, a little bit more visible, but I think it's a good start. I think it kind of really helps, honestly. Helps to figure out where exactly that person is, what they're doing, if they're fighting someone, if they're just running. But yeah, you'll notice that throughout the gameplay in the background of the video because it's from the PTR. Next up, some features and bug fixes, kind of starting with a Widowmaker grappling hook change. Now retains momentum when used on environments or structures without a ledge, e.g. walls. Now basically what this means is that now you can normally use just normal walls instead of just ledges to kind of launch yourself a little bit. It just means that you get to retain your momentum in a little bit more ways than just the normal way that you used to be able to do it in. Just a nice change for Widowmakers. Not a huge deal, but still a good change to have in there. After that, we have all of the heroes changes, and these are the big ones. Going through the first couple real fast. Brigitte fixed a bug that caused Brigitte to abruptly change directions when she stopped holding her barrier shield. This is basically the whole thing with holding down a shield and turning the camera at the same time. Doomfist as well had fixed a bug that caused Doomfist's seismic slam to cancel when using Symmetra's teleporter. Just a bit of a weird one. I guess they're just still patching up the different changes with Symmetra's teleporter. But here is the next thing, and this is the big deal in here, and this is probably what the video title is all about as well, and that is Reinhardt. So in case you didn't know, there were some Reinhardt fixes previously on the PTR that are kind of coming through to live slowly but surely. You saw the change to, the visual change to Earth Shatter, and with that some other changes here and there to Reinhardt in terms of bug fixes and other things, and these are really interesting, so bear with me here. There's quite a few. We have the different bugs, and the first one, they fixed a bug that allowed Reinhardt to pin targets that were behind them when using charge. This was kind of a big deal. It was kind of weird that this kept happening, but it definitely has happened quite a few times. If you're kind of on top of Reinhardt or a bit behind him when he uses his charge, you can actually get pinned there, so a little bit weird, but they fixed that. They also fixed a bug that prevented Reinhardt to pin some targets when he turned during charge, and this has been a huge deal for so long, and I gotta say, it already feels a bit better. I've played 2-3 games on the PTR and had a couple of these type of moments. Basically, when you have these long range pins or long range charges or just medium range charges where you get to turn a little bit, sometimes the target would just kind of boop off you and just kind of fly away. But now it seems that the pin is a little bit more consistent. It doesn't seem ridiculous in any way. I don't know, overall it just feels better. Might even be placebo effect, who knows. After that though, we had fixed a bug that allowed Reinhardt to use Earth Shatter while standing on an enemy's head. And yeah, this has just happened a few times. I'm sure you guys have seen it a bit here and there, but sometimes if you get thrown up in the air by something, you land on top of someone, you use an Earth Shatter, and it still kind of works, but the interaction is really weird. It's not very consistent. They've just kind of changed some of these things around. I think it's good overall, but maybe it'll result in other bugs. Who knows? After that, they fixed a bug that prevented Reinhardt's Earth Shatter from sometimes hitting enemies standing on a payload, and I guess they're just still messing around with the interactions a little bit. Haven't really seen too much of this, but I'm sure more testing of that will be interesting. Let me know in the comments below if you have anything on that. After that, we have fixed the bug that prevented Reinhardt's Earth Shatter from traveling up certain inclines. And I feel like I've seen this in the patch notes a few times before, and this is the sort of thing that you will never know how this change actually is, if it's as good as it looks in the patch notes, and if it works as well as you hope it to be, until this change is live and people are playing Reinhardt a lot in ranked again, because the PTR never quite gives the type of testing you want from this, not quite the results you'd like. But I'm interested to see if this actually helps. I'm sure you've all seen Earth Shatters on stairs or just on small inclines, where they just seem to kind of disappear out of nowhere and just not do anything. Really weird stuff, but yeah, Earth Shatter's been very buggy. Glad they're kind of working on it. And finally, fixed the bug that caused Reinhardt to abruptly change directions when he stopped holding his barrier field. This is the same thing as Brigitte, and it kind of has to do with the sort of 180 type of turn that you can do if you stop holding the barrier field and so on. I'm sure you guys have seen stuff like this. It doesn't actually always happen. Sometimes it can even bug out a little bit. But yeah, I guess they're just working on consistency with Reinhardt, and especially the Earth Shatter. I'm glad to see just 3 major changes to Earth Shatter and then just a bunch more to Reinhardt as a whole. Really good stuff. After that, though, we have Roadhog as well, which is fixed a bug that caused Roadhog's chain hook to sometimes break after hitting an enemy. Now, this might sound really weird as like a bug fix, but I think this is something that has popped up more recently, when I've seen Roadhogs be played, and also played Roadhog myself just in the arcade or whatever it is. Sometimes, and even I've seen clips of this on Twitch as well, in ranked and so on, people will be hooking an enemy and the hook will just disappear and just kind of break for no apparent reason. It doesn't really make a lot of sense a lot of the time. It probably has something to do with how it latches on to the enemy, maybe the rotation or position that they're in, or something like that that has to do with the hook, and it can just be really odd sometimes, like just not consistent at all. They seem to have maybe found the reasoning behind it and just fixed it, since they haven't addressed it more specifically than this. I assume they've just fixed whatever did actually happen. I didn't feel any inconsistencies when I played Roadhog just earlier on the PTR, but yeah, that was in there. And after this, just to wrap the video up real quick, Sombra fixed a bug that prevented Sombra from translocating to a moving platform when using her translocator. Good stuff, just a small fix. Fixed a bug that prevented Sombra's translocator from accurately indicating where Sombra would arrive when the ability was used. And yeah, this is just, again, one of those things that kind of might need changing after Sombra has been messed with a little bit. But yeah, good stuff, just another bug fix. Widowmaker fixed a bug that prevented Widowmaker's grappling hook from connecting to some ledges. This, you know, once again, we've seen before in the patch notes, and is the sort of thing that you never know quite how it works out until you run into any potential issues again. And finally, Wrecking Ball, aka Hammond, fixed the bug that caused all enemies to use the same damage fall-off calculation. Now, there's been a lot of damage fall-off bugs and a lot of fixes and so on and changes within that, so yet another one to add to the pile there, I guess you could say. But that is all for these changes. That's all for this video. I wanted to go through every single thing here because honestly, bugs in Overwatch can be very related to gameplay. They can definitely affect a whole lot of players, and there are some bugs that people just kind of live with and we just kind of deal with, honestly. But that is all for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, of course, and subscribe and click the bell if you want more Overwatch content. That's all for now, though. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.